Children, after Harpy disappears, Prospero again is speaking to himself. That again is a soliloquy, and he is mighty pleased seeing the performance of Ariel as Harpy. And praising Ariel, he says, "Bravely the figures of this Harpy hast thou performed, my Ariel." Bravely means very beautifully enacted character. Figure is character. So, a very beautifully enacted character of Harpy has been performed by Ariel. A grace it had, devouring of my instructions, hast thou nothing bated. A grace means it had a beauty about it. Devouring the food at the banquet. That is the way Harpy clapped its wings and the entire banquet disappeared. That had such a beauty, such grace it had, the way Harpy devoured the food at the banquet. And of his instructions, thou hast nothing bated. Bated means omitted. You have followed my orders to the fullest. You have not missed out even a small instructions. You've done exactly as I had instructed you to do in what thou hast to say. Now, that is my instructions about what you had to do. You have followed it to the minutest detail. You have not omitted or baited anything from my instructions. So, with good life and observation, strange my meaner ministers, their several kinds have done. So with lifelike means the presentation, the representation was so lifelike. The attention to the particulars was so beautiful. And he even praises the meaner ministers by saying, similarly, the humbler attendants, they have carried out their respective duties, producing wonderfully the illusion of reality after having minutely observed and studied what was to be done. His magic, which is now, he says, very potent, has proved to be very, very effective. He says, my high charm works, that is, his powerful magic was now working. And these mine enemies are all knit up. Knit up means now they are driven to frenzy, they are perplexed, now they are absolutely in my control. So he knows he has held them tightly in a state of despair and madness. They are now in his power, and now he plans to leave them in this state of insanity and go to meet young Ferdinand and Miranda in their distraction, that is, in their bewilderment. So he says they are all knit up in their distraction, they are all bewildered in a state of frenzy. They now are in my power. He knows now they are helpless. They are absolutely in the power of Prospero. And in these fits, that is, in this desperate state, I leave them while I visit young Ferdinand, whom they suppose is drowned, and mine and his loved darling. Mine means Prospero's, and his refers to uh, Ferdinand's. So she is a darling of both Ferdinand as well as Prospero. So now, if you're asked where does Prospero go after this, he goes to visit Ferdinand and Miranda. Now, Gonzalo says, in the name of something holy, sir, why stand you in this strange stare? Now, obviously, Gonzalo sees the reaction of Alonso to this, or the entire show. And so he says that he would ask would ask Alonso, why was he in this strange stare? Means, why was he staring so strangely, widely? So, why this wild stare? Now, Alonso says, oh, it's monstrous, monstrous. That is monstrous here, referring to supernatural. Methought the billows spoke, and told me of it. The winds did sing it to me, and the thunder that deep and dreadful organ pipes pronounced the name of Prospero. It did bass my trespass. Therefore my son in the ooze is bedded, and I'll seek him deeper than ever plummet sounded, and with him there lie mudded. Now you see, children, that Alonso is most deeply affected by the entire thing that has happened. And it is also important from the point of view of the plot, because the more is the realization of guilt, the greater will be the repentance, and greater the craving for forgiveness. And when he is pardoned by Prospero, then that would pave the way to reconciliation. As we have already discussed, I would not go into the details right now. So he says that it was all so monstrous. Methought. Methought means I thought the billows spoke. Now he feels that the entire so, things around him, be it waters, be it heaven, everything is pronouncing the name of Prospero and reminding him of his sins. He thinks that he feels that waves of the ocean are speaking and telling him about his misdeeds. Even the wind is singing into his ears as it is blowing. Even the thunder seems to be roaring and reminding him of his deeds. Even the roar of the thunder resembles the deep and the frightening sound of the organ pipes, which seem to be uttering the name of Prospero. And even the thunder is reminding him in its rough and loud voice. The thunder seems to be reminding Alonso of his crime. And therefore, he feels that he is the one who is guilty. And it is because of his sins his son has died. So he says, the wind did sing it to me. That is, he seems that the wind is singing in his ears and describing to him the tale of his sin. The thunder seems to be, in its deep, dreadful notes, seems to be pronouncing, uttering the name of Prospero. It did bass my trespass. That is, in its bass voice, it is proclaiming in its loud tone the offense of Prospero, offense of Alonso. And therefore means it is because of my sins my son in the ooze is bedded. Now, Alonso says it is because of his past sins. His son is dead and buried in the ooze. Ooze is the soft mud at the ocean bed. So he feels his son is dead and he is lying there in the oozy bed of the ocean. And he says, I'll seek him deeper than plummet ever sounded. Now, plummet is a metal ball that is attached to a strong string, which is used by the sailors to ascertain the depth of water. So obviously the plummet goes very, very deep into the ocean. But he says he will go even deeper down than the plummet, and he will lie buried in the ocean besides his son, where his son lies mudded. Mudded is he'll seek his son deeper than the plummet ever went and lie beside his son, dead in the oozy bed of the ocean. Sebastian says, but one fiend at a time I'll fight their legions over. Now, even you see Sebastian and Antonio, they are also distracted. They are not in their senses. Now, there is nobody in front of them, but they are attacking some invisible fiend, some invisible enemy in the air with their swords. And Sebastian is crying out, hitting out at the air, saying one enemy should come at a time and he will fight the entire army, the entire battalion of enemies. So he is also, in distracted state of mind. He says, but one fiend at a time. That is, one by one, the enemy should come and he will fight the entire legion, the entire regiment of it. And Antonio says, I will be thy second. That is, I will support you in this. I will also fight with the fiends, the enemies. Now, Antonio and Sebastian go away fighting some invisible enemy. Now, shouldn't you see in this only Gonzalo is the one who is in absolute sane state of mind. The reason being his heart is guilt free. Since he is guilt free, he is able to perceive the entire situation as it is. And he is aware of the sins that these men have committed 12 years back. So being guilt free, his heart is um, not as affected as these three. So he is judging the entire situation in a very, very realistic manner as he sees it. So he says, all three men, all three of them are desperate. Now, all three referring to Alonso, Antonio, and Sebastian. He says that all three of them, point number one, what opinion does Gonzalo have about Antonio, Sebastian, and Alonso? First point, he says all of them are desperate. All three of them are in an absolute desperate state of mind. Their great guilt, like poison given to work a great time after, now begins to bite the spirit. Now, this like poison, it is a simile. Now, he says that their great guilt is working like poison, which takes a long time to take effect, but now it has begun to take effect on their minds. All right. So this guilt, this sin is working on them like poison, a slow acting poison. Why slow acting? Because it took 12 years to show its effect. So this guilt is acting like a slow poison in their minds, which is now showing effect after a long time. And therefore, he says, now this guilt has begun to gnaw at their hearts. Now this guilt is gnawing at their hearts. I do beseech you that are of suppler joints, follow them swiftly, and hinder them from what this ecstasy may now provoke them to. Now, Gonzalo is also able to see the state of mind in which Antonio and Sebastian are. They have run out of that place, attacking some invisible fiend. So Gonzalo tells the other lords present there, he says, those of you who are of nimbler joints, that is, those of you who are young and who have nimble limbs, who are quick, fast, young, they must follow Antonio and Sebastian quickly because Gonzalo is old, he cannot move that fast. So he's asking the other lords who are present there, who are younger and of nimbler limbs, they must follow Antonio and Sebastian quickly and hinder is prevent them from what this ecstasy means, this excitement in their minds may promote them to do or may prompt them to do, may now provoke them to. So now they know that they might get into trouble because of this excited state of mind that they are in. So he asks some younger lords to quickly run after them and to stop them, to prevent them from doing anything which the turmoil in their minds might lead them to do in this present state of ecstasy. Now, Adrian says, follow, I pray you. So he says that he asks others to move and he would follow them there. So, with that, we come to the end of the third act, the third scene. And I will again attach a short video to help you understand this better. Thank you, children. God bless you.
Friends, hark. Marvelous, sweet music.
Give us, kind keepers, heavens. A living drollery. Now I will believe that there are unicorns.
If in Naples I should report this now, would they believe me? Oh.
We have stomachs. Wilt please you taste of what is here?
Faith, sir, you need not fear.
I will stand to and feed, although my last, no matter, since I feel the best is past.
You are three men of sin. whom destiny hath caused to belch up you. And on this island, where man doth not inhabit, you amongst men being most unfit to live, I have made you mad. You fools! I and my fellows are ministers of fate. The elements, of whom your swords are tempered, may as well wound the loud winds as diminish one down that's in my plume. But remember, for that's my business to you, that you three from the land did supplant good Prospera, her and her innocent child, for which foul deed the powers delaying, not forgetting, have incensed the seas and shores, yea, all the creatures against your peace. The of thy son Alonso they have bereft, and to pronounce by me lingering perdition shall step by step attend you and your ways.
Bravely the figure of this harpy hast thou performed my Ariel. My high charms work. And these mine enemies are all knit up in their distractions. They now are in my power.
The name was something holy, sir. Why stand you in this strange stare?
Oh, it is monstrous. Monstrous. Methought the billows spoke and told me of it. The winds did sing it to me. And the thunder, that deep and dreadful organ pipe, pronounced the name of Prosper. It did base my trespass. Therefore my son in the Ouse is bedded. And I'll seek him deeper than air plummets sounded. And with him there lie mudded.
With 1 feet at a time, I'll fight their legions all! I'll be thy second! All 3 of them are desperate. Their great guilt, like poison given to work a great time after, now begins to bite the spirits. I shall follow them swiftly, and hinder them from what this ecstasy may now provoke them to.